Hello and welcome back to Daring and Doing. I'm Will Hester and I'm joined by the brilliant Ben Bowman. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. North London derby on Sunday, and I'm not going to lie, I'm fucking shitting myself. But
Don't get nervous.
I'm starting to get a little bit shaky.
Oh,
5-0
a little bit shaky.
last night. I mean, Chelsea always roll over for them anyway. So is that result that impressive?
Yeah, nah, it's
Did they
not.
do anything we didn't expect them to? Or is that
Yeah.
just a copium of like watching Martin Odegaard and thinking, what the fuck's he going to do to us on Sunday? Yeah, what's he going to do to us on Sunday? I think that was John Bass who coined that term of copium.
Yeah, John Bass. Yeah. I was so torn because obviously I hate Arsenal more than Chelsea, but you hate Chelsea so much, and every time you're watching like Poch get battered for Chelsea, you can't
like, at least
it
was them.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's just Arsenal, just fuck off. Like I really expected them to crumble, like they have like every single season where they start losing at the end of the season, and they've bounced back. In fairness, like I don't want to give them credit, but in fairness, they have bounced back. That just gives me even more.
They had a mini crumble, and now they had a mini crumble, and now it's like crumbles back in the oven. It's like cooking again. You're like, oh, fuck
they've saved it. They've saved it. It was savable.
Yeah,
and as we're recording, Everton are 2-0 up against Liverpool.
What the fuck?
Like, is it actually going to be the worst year of our lives?
The season started off so well, mate. Under Andrew.
It actually did.
Fucking. At least Europa League looks in the bag. Newcastle losing and Man United drawing at home Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. We'll give you updates.
Come on, Liverpool.
We need to work on that.
Yeah.
Come on, Sheffield United.
Come on, the Red Devils.
I don't understand what is going on. I'm so confused. Like I thought Liverpool. To be honest, I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking Liverpool. I didn't actually expect them to go all the way in the title race, anyways.
No,
I did think the ones that looked the best, like the most sustainable, was Arsenal and City. We're just praying for City. I'm at the City game tomorrow. I'm going to be in the City away and doing a fucking Poznan. And
mate.
I'm thinking about wearing my Spurs kit, see if anyone will actually care.
I think they'll embrace you for it.
Yeah. Imagine that. Like you just see me like doing a Poznan on Sky Sports.
Yeah.
Being a City fan for the day. You know what? It actually might be nice seeing a team knowing that you're gonna win.
Yeah.
It must be ridiculous. It must be. To be fair, that's actually true. I might have jinxed it, but to be fair,
this reeks of like a Brighton 1-1. I think. Yeah, I've got a bad feeling about it.
De Zerbi loves these sort of games, but I don't know. I think I can imagine being a City fan is fucking boring. Like you just know you're gonna win.
Yeah.
Oh no, they equalised. Fuck.
Oh god, it just makes it a little bit harder.
I know. I'm gonna experience that tomorrow and be with my mate. He's a big City fan. He actually is. In fairness to him, he actually is a City fan.
Yeah.
But,
respect.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be nervous tomorrow watching that because Arsenal, and we're gonna get onto the North London derby. Before we do that, we're talking about Liverpool. Arne Slot, his name's popping about again.
Who remembers? Arne Slot, he's back. And he looks like he's on his way to Liverpool unless he decides to sign a new contract like he did when we were in for him.
Little tease.
Yeah, little Arne Slot.
Just edging us.
Yeah, literally. And he signed a new contract.
Little slut, Arne Slot.
Exactly.
He loves a little flirt, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But do you think, so next season, obviously, we're going to be looking to take that Liverpool place. This title race, next season, should be us. Arsenal and City. That's the expectation, right? That's what Ange wants. That's what the Spurs players want. Do you reckon there'll be? I mean, there's obviously going to be a drop off from Klopp, but do you reckon Slot will sort of steady the ship in such an absence?
It's so hard to say because like Klopp has been such a figure for them, where it's just like, how on earth does anybody come in like? Even with like Amorim, that felt like that felt exciting, that kind of felt progressive for Liverpool, like. This doesn't have quite the same like excitement around it, but I think he's obviously it seems like a decent manager. Slot. Like, there's been a lot we were obviously in for him last year, and now the fact that Liverpool are going in for him and trying to make him their main man, I think they obviously see something in him. Who knows? Honestly, it'll be next season is going to be such a minefield. You imagine it'll be City and Arsenal again, but who kind of takes that third place with United all over the place, Chelsea all over the gaff? Could be us. Could be
I,
actual
you know
title charge
what?
next year.
I think so. I
Are we
actually think so.
are us and Villa? I suppose it's probably Villa, isn't it? But like, are Spurs and Villa like the most settled teams outside of Arsenal and City in the league going into next season? Do you think?
Well, United, you don't know what's going to happen in United. I don't think United know what's going to happen. Ten Hag's probably not going to be there, but he might be. Like you don't know. Liverpool obviously going through such a huge transition. I mean, I'd be amazed if they're still in the same place they are next season. Arne Slot is a bit. He don't have that aura, does he? You know when you look at Klopp and Arne Slot, like come on, like I don't know. He looks like Buzz Lightyear. He's just I don't know, like I don't know. I can imagine. I can imagine like Trent or Salah or Van Dijk being told what to do by Arne Slot and being like, "Fuck off."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like he's trying to give them tactical and tips, and they're just like, "Go away! What are you doing here?" And obviously, there's always going to be that fall Buzz. Yeah. There's always going to be that fall guy when there's such a like absence of a manager in the status of a Klopp or a Guardiola. So yeah, I don't know. And obviously Feyenoord they won the league last year. They're second. They're not even winning this year. I don't know. It's a massive opportunity for Spurs. And I'm so happy we ended up Vange. We ended up Vange. Because remember how devastated we were when it felt like the end of the world. Like, where do we go from here when Slot?
Yeah, that was like that was it,
contract.
wasn't it? It was like, here we go again. Like it's like when Conte turned us down. Like it felt, yeah. But we got Big Ange, and we got Big Ange who's going to slap his big dick all over Arteta on Sunday.
I can see your eyes going. You were trying to think of any other word but dick.
literally. Big.
I just made a piece of it.
Yeah. Tell you what, speaking of big dicks, anyone see this morning? Jesus. I can't believe you tweeted out saying it looks like Alistair Gold.
I didn't say that. I drafted it. I was like, "Go on, Alistair Gold, lad." It was this guy. It was this guy on this morning, and he had like UK's biggest knob, and it's like 12 inches or something like that. And actually, they didn't even go into details about girth or anything. It was literally just length. Anyway, he looked exactly. He looked exactly like Alistair Gold. Like, I'm not even joking. I actually double took and thought, "Fuck off! It's Alistair Gold."
Yeah,
taking on his day off.
Yeah,
like
just writing his Spurs player ratings.
But it actually, I mean, I didn't want to tweet because I thought it would be a little bit out of order to Alistair Gold because it did look like Alistair. Like, it did look like a B-Tech Alistair Gold.
Alistair Gold on free Ken.
Alistair Silver. But no, it actually, I actually thought it was Alistair Gold. Like, I genuinely thought it was Alistair Gold. And I was thinking, Alistair Gold's got the biggest knob in the UK. That's mad.
Crazy, isn't it?
But moving on, the away kit was teased today. And it actually looks unbelievable. Actually looks really, really good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a light purple. I think we tweeted it out on our tweet. Is it not?
Are you colourblind? Are you fucking blind?
What colour is it?
It's blue. It's like light blue.
Is it?
Get it up right now.
I feel like a mug. I tweeted out Modric
I did think, like, when you replied that yesterday with Modric, I was like, I gave it a like, but I was like, I can't really see where he's going here. And then, no, it's
mate,
like light
you're telling
blue.
You're telling me that's not purple.
If anyone thinks in the comments that
oh
is
my
purple,
god, it's not.
It's light blue.
It's light blue. Christ, I've got to delete that tweet. I look like an idiot. I swear no one liked it.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what the fuck is he on about?
Purple.
I've got to delete that tweet. Rub me at the end. I feel like an idiot, but okay, it's light blue. It looks really nice.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
It is really nice, yeah.
You know what's funny, right? What's funny is that, like, everyone's hammered Nike for ages about, like, not leaning into, like, the retro kind of, like, theme, but they've done that with both of these kits. Like, if you look at Spurs' away kit in but I think it's between 83 and 85. I think I sent it to you yesterday. That is that kit. That is very similar, and it's got the same centralised badge. And that year, 1984, when we had that away kit, Holston, light blue, Lecoq Sportif.
Yeah, I'm listening.
We won the UEFA Cup, mate.
Oh,
we won the UEFA
God.
Cup. So
are you telling me, Ben, that it's written in the stars?
I think it's get Tiny Temper on the tune. Like that is written in the stars.
Oh, what a song! That was literally growing up on Prime Barclays. Yeah, like absolute pure Barclays. Like sat down on a Sunday. I've just been made to go to church, and I come back, come home, turn Prime Barclays on, and just get lost.
Whoa! Written in the stars.
Oh, mate,
a million miles away.
Oh, mate, that was so good. I remember. I mean, this is going off on a tangent. I don't think anyone cares, but I've got like so many good memories of me, my cousin, my brother, just watching. I don't know what it would like Blackburn, Newcastle, or Wigan, Newcastle, wherever it is, and just there's so, like all these players that just go down and in sort of with legendary status with like in my memory. I'm waffling, but
no, you're right.
Brian Barclays, the nostalgia. Sam Cornish asked the question.
Yeah, big up Sam
on Twitter. The legend, the GOAT.
The GOAT.
If you don't know who Sam Cornish is by now, like what are you doing? Where have you been? You're a mug. He says, how has Ben planned to spend his commission he's made from selling Donnelly to United? Ben, what you got to say for yourself? Because if United do bid, say Fernandes has to leave United. If United do bid for Jamie Donnelly because of what you said.
Yeah. I'm running away with the money, mate. I could give a shit. But Jamie Donnelly's nice and everything. Like he's a good player, but money sounds all right to me, mate.
That United money.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Will's just been glassed.
What you saying?
I don't know. What would I spend the money on? I mean, backstory. For anyone who didn't listen to the last podcast, I went to watch the under-21s last Saturday, and I was actually like sat next to like the Man United coaches. And when Donnelly scored, the guy like because obviously you could tell I was a Spurs fan. He like turned around to me and was like, "Oh, that your lad, that number 10's good, isn't he?" He was like asking me about him, and I was like, "What do you want to fucking know for, mate? What do you want to know for, eh? Should have done your scouting. I thought that's your job."
You already had like a scouting report on him.
Yeah, exactly.
I wrote this myself.
There's my TikTok, mate.
Yeah.
The Spurs youngster.
Video, mate. Break it down.
Yeah,
break it down for you.
Literally. But to be fair, I made a TikTok on Jamie Donnelly. That was like one of the first TikToks that went like big. I was like,
really?
It was like Jamie Donnelly just going viral. I think he actually liked it as well.
Serious?
Yeah, class. Yeah,
man, that's quality.
Jamie Donnelly. Tyrese Hall actually followed me on Twitter the other day.
I know, I saw that. That's ridiculous. Yeah. What a legend. That's
obviously
so
listen to the pod. Shout out Tyrese.
Yeah, Tyrese Hall, mate. Don't join City. Stay with us, and you can you can achieve some amazing things. So moving on to the North London derby.
Yeah.
Do you actually want to talk about it, or do you want to just end it there?
Should we just do? Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for listening. If Arsenal win the league, we will never do this podcast ever again. So enjoy it.
It's actually making me feel sick because I was thinking earlier, like Arsenal got to win it at some point in our lifetimes. Like that's almost inevitable. So hopefully, I just don't know. I don't want to think about it. It makes me actually feel sick.
I can't do it.
But how is this our biggest game of the season?
Yeah. This is the season now. Like their results have kind of made it this. We need to win to stay in the chance of getting in the top four. This is it now. This is it. Stopping them is it for us. Like we need this. We need to stop them.
We do need this.
Everton have just beaten Liverpool 2-0. Well, they're beating them 2-0. It was like a few minutes to go. I'm not confident in City getting a win at Brighton. I don't know why. Hopefully that ages badly and they spank them like 3-0. But I feel like they rode that wave of like the Bayern games and then the Villa game, and everybody sort of got on top of them. And now it's like they crumbled, but now the crumble's back in the oven, like I said, isn't it? Like it's just like they're actually good, and they beat fucking Chelsea 5-0 last night. And I know Chelsea are like poor, but this has to be it. Stopping them. This is it. This is it now for us. We've got to do it. We've got to be the ones. Even a draw fucks them over. Even a draw, like to be fair, a draw is a good result against that calibre of side anyway. But when you add to the fact it's a North London derby and the context around it, I'm worried, mate.
Yeah,
I'm worried.
I saw a tweet earlier, and it made me laugh. But it's that Mourinho team talk with Chelsea when before they won the league, and he's like, "I don't want to put that kind of pressure on you. We don't have to win, but we cannot lose." It's literally that. Like, I don't know what accent that was, but it's literally like, we can't lose this game. Like, if we lose in the running for, this is their biggest chance of the Premier League in my lifetime. I don't know. When was the last time they won it? Was it 04?
2004, which luckily
2004.
for me was like the year I started going to Spurs that year, but it was the following season, so I've not really seen Arsenal win the league.
Oh, yeah. That was the year I was born, so
yeah,
I wouldn't. But it's giving me so much like anxiety.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, but we have a chance. We have a say. We always knew we were going to have a say on this in this title race. We have a say in it, and
now's the time to do it.
Exactly, and I don't. It's really tricky. When I was watching clips of the game, the reverse fixture today, and I was just looking at us play with such confidence, such like flourish, and we had so much that each player sort of took that occasion on their shoulders and was playing out their skin. Well, not out their skin, but just playing really, really well, confident, and efficient, and we've sort of withered a little bit. The players aren't feeling as confident. You can't see that same swagger in our influential players like Maddison, Son, Bissouma, and that does worry me, because when we played Arsenal, we had so much hype about us, and the players, you could see that occasion. The players like that. They bought into that hype, and I'm not saying like, oh, they're shit. They're still so capable of that. It's just we are in this. We've had a run of fixtures where we've now and again we have got results most of the time, but we've been spanked a couple of times in this running, and we've had this couple of weeks off, so you have no idea what to expect. But this is our most important game of the season. Like, it actually is. Like, this is. We know we've probably got Europa League.
Yeah.
We're still in the running for Champions League, but that looks unlikely. But in a way, the pressure's kind of off us.
Yeah.
And the pressure's all on them then they have to come and get a result. So how vital do you think the atmosphere will be for this game? Because the last time they come to the lane needing a win, the occasion got to them and they lost their heads. They were overstimulated. But that was fucking Rob Holding.
Yeah.
Who's disappeared off the face of the earth. Where does he even play? Is it Crystal Palace now?
Yeah.
And are they a different team now? Or could the atmosphere still have a significant impact on this result?
I think it will, but I'm worried about it because it's like this season, I don't think the atmosphere has been up to that level. Like at the start of the season, it was great. And I remember the United games and the Liverpool games, like, those Saturday 5:30 kind of big ones. And the fact that it's 2:00 at home on a Sunday just feels a little bit, I don't know, it feels a bit flat. Like you're right. Like when they came to us a couple of years ago, when the Champions League was on the line, if they won against us that night, it was done. I think even if they drew, we had to win. We had to beat them. Otherwise, it was done. And we beat them. And not only did we beat them, we pulverised them. And they got a man sent off, but we just
bent them over.
Bent them over. They couldn't hack it against us that night. And the atmosphere was a massive part of that. It was a cauldron. Like, you think of before the game, like everyone on the high road, the police escort, the Arsenal fans, all that kind of stuff. Like, we need that again on Sunday. I know it's a 2:00 Sunday game, but everyone needs to get up there early, make a thing of it, make them feel unwelcome, and that atmosphere has to transfer into the stadium, because that can help us win that game. We've got to make it the occasion. We've got to make them play the occasion rather than the game. And I think there's a chance if they do that, we can hurt them. Like you said, the pressure's kind of off us in a little sense. And they know they've got to come here and win, but they will be confident of that. And this is a different Arsenal team to them. But there's still a vulnerability there. They even saw, like last night, this was the ridiculous thing about that Chelsea game. Chelsea had chances. They had chances in that game in the first half, especially. Jackson missed that great chance in the second half where Gabriel sort of slips over. He's got to score. And if we put those chances away, it's a different game against them on Sunday. And I think there will be ways that we can hurt them. But like you said, I think the most important thing is going to be that atmosphere. It has to be. Everyone just has to be up for this. At points during the season, the atmosphere has not been up to the level of what this stadium can be under such an exciting, fresh project under Postecoglou with a team to really, really get behind. We can't just sit there and wait to be entertained and wait to be impressed, like we have done in previous years under managers that, haven't had the same buy-in necessarily from the crowd. I feel like this team and this manager are kind of almost getting treated a little bit like that now, and like some fans are turning up to the stadium just sitting back and waiting for us to do something that ignites the atmosphere rather than creating that, and then the players kind of feeding off it. It's not an excuse for the players, and it shouldn't be an excuse for the players not to turn up on Sunday, but we have to give them the best opportunity and create that environment that's going to scare Arsenal and it's going to make them maybe misplace that pass, or maybe because we're a good pressing team, we can hurt this Arsenal team. Yeah. They're not invincible. They're not, they are imperious at the back, but we can do it. If Chelsea can get those chances against them, we can get those chances against them. It's just a matter of putting them away.
Yeah.
It's just the atmosphere has to be better for me. And we have to channel what we did in 21-22, because that had something on the line, and this is massive. Even though that was Champions League football for us versus them, this is bigger in a way. This is bigger because it helps our season, but it fucks them over massively in terms of actually going on to eclipse, what that would have been that night for them in terms of getting in the top four. This is the Premier League title. This is a horror movie for Spurs if they win it. We need to stop them. We need to be the ones to put the brakes on. But and that kind of comes down to the atmosphere as well. So we need to go there and just we need to stop them. We need to stop them, whatever means necessary. To stop them playing.
Yeah. In hindsight, like that game, like in the moment, that game felt so monumental. Like it felt ridiculously significant. That they were going to drop off and we were going to push on and be title challengers. And it just, in hindsight, it just didn't prove that way at all. So I think we now know through that, that experience of we knew what happened the following season, that this game for like Champions League isn't the be all and end all, but a league title is so impactful, isn't it? They can say they've won the league, and there's always that debate that, hang on, are they even better than Spurs' 2018, 19, 17 team? And if they win the league, then there's no debate.
Yeah, rubber stamps it, doesn't it?
There's so much on the line. Yeah, and I said like the pressure isn't on us. It kind of is now, thinking about it, because this is a say on stopping our biggest rivals from winning the league.
Yeah.
Like, that is a bit of pressure. Of course it is. Like, we can't roll over or we can't lose, because if we get spanked in this game, the fucking backlash on Twitter is going to be mental.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not like saying that Ange cares about Twitter, but you're thinking about the project. You don't want people checking out early because we got absolutely dicked down by Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like sound like defeatist. I think we've got every chance. We are so capable of beating 100%. I agree. Do you think with the atmosphere then? So at the beginning of the season, there was such a surge like in our stadium of getting behind a team. Like, thinking about the Sheffield United game. I was at the Man United game. It was ridiculous.
It was class.
It was amazing. Like, getting behind the team. Do you think over time, with the way we've been playing, people are now more nervous? We're confident that we're going to get through, but we're nervous that it's not going to work. And I just think the fact Arsenal have done so well this season has made a massive impact on our season.
Yeah, massively.
Because it's our first season. It's a transitional season. This should be so positive. It's just that's always lurking in the background. It's just lurking, and you're constantly on edge. And I think that might be coming across in us when we're playing, when we're watching our team play, with that nervousness of we don't know which way this is gonna sway this game, because we could smash them, but actually, in the last few months, we've not started well, or we've conceded first, and it just adds that little bit of, maybe that's why the atmosphere's been a little flat, because people are just anxious that we're gonna maybe not win, like the Wolves result. Maybe we won't score. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Do you think people are going to be nervous going into the Arsenal game then? Like, that atmosphere, do you reckon they're going to be getting behind them, or do you think they're going to be sat in the seat shitting? What do you think?
I think there's a danger where I think you got two options, right? You get down the pub at 9 o'clock, drink those nerves away, get yourself teed up for it. That's what I'm doing. Get down to the ground at like 12. Get outside the ground. Everybody making a noise. Make it that environment again. It's not going to be a nice day. It's a Sunday. Get outside. It's not.
Hopefully
it's
sunny.
Not exactly. Hopefully sunny. Hopefully that just answer the day. Like, get up for it. Wake up Sunday. fucking get up for it. Because do you know what? Right, I was at work earlier, and you know what it's like. Anyone listening to this who's a Spurs fan knows that everybody's office is infiltrated with gooners. You always work with an Arsenal fan, no matter what.
Scum.
You might work with a QPR fan or a Crystal Palace fan or whatever. So, working in London and that. And, the rogue Man United fan here and there or whatever. And, the Liverpool fans that aren't really into football. But there's always a gooner. Always. And they're always the gooners that don't go to the games. They're always the Sky Sports gooners. They're always the ones that love to walk past your desk and pipe up when they've just beat Chelsea 5-0. But last week, I didn't hear anything from you last week, mate. You blanked me every time you walked past me. It's those gooners. Those ones. And do you know what I heard earlier? I was sitting there, got two gooners sitting next to me at work, right? One of them goes, they were talking about the game last night and going, yeah, brilliant. Like, we beat Chelsea and that. Oh, we're so good, blah, blah, blah. I think we're going to win the league. One of them said, we're going to troddle Tottenham. What does that mean? You think you're going to come here and bat us? Let them come here with that confidence. Look, they might well beat us, but they're confident, they're arrogant coming here. Wipe those smirks off their faces. Get that arrogance in the bin. We can do this. Yeah. We can 100% do this. If any manager and any team can do this, look, everyone's panicking about the style of play. And there was a tweet going around saying, look, Ange, I'm begging you, you need to change this. We can't play this way. We're going to get taken apart. We went to the Emirates and played that way. And we got a result. We got a result and deservedly got a result. We went to the Etihad and played that way. And we got a result. Look, this Arsenal team are fucking good, right? But we are a good team who is capable of hurting anybody. Liverpool haven't beaten us this season. Arsenal haven't beaten us. Man City ain't beaten us this season yet. None of those teams are beating us. We can do it. And the atmosphere is going to play a huge, huge part. Because I don't think these players will freeze. I think the players will freeze if the fans don't get behind them and they feel that nervous energy. That is so important in these games. Those fans have got to be right on it because that energy does transfer to the players. Look, it's not an excuse for them not to turn up if we don't back them. But we have to back them. We have to get there and make it that cauldron that this stadium can be. And it's not been enough this season. So get up, set your bloody alarm, go down the pub from early, get there early, make a day, make it feel like a proper derby, which it fucking is. And this is the most important North London derby in a long, long time. It feels weird. It feels like we haven't had this build up to it. Like I said, the 2 p.m. Sunday thing off the back of not playing for 2 weeks doesn't help.
It does feel odd, doesn't it?
It feels like it's not been built up enough. Like, we're recording this Wednesday night. It's Thursday tomorrow. That's 3 days away from the game. And I feel like it's not being spoken about. I feel like it's not. And maybe it's because Arsenal have been playing quite a lot, but we've got to scare them. We've got to go there and scare them because they are coming into this game full of their stupid little muggy gooner, cocksure, arrogant twat nature. We can humble them. I think we can do it. I'm not saying I'm not going to stick my neck out on the line and say we are going to do it, but it sounded like emotional then. Just got indigestion.
We sample so much.
He scores so many goals. It just got indigestion, but so,
it was an emotional speech.
Yeah,
it was like you were rallying up the Spurs
play that
fans.
to the players.
And Postecoglou was just like, I'm not doing any shit team match day speeches. Just listen to this, lads.
Lunch.
Enjoy
I
this
want to talk
video.
about our fucking game. I want to talk about us. That's me right now. Oh, now I'm up for it. I'm fucking. Let's go now.
Yeah, mate, I can see you actually pumped.
I was so miserable earlier, watching the fucking Merseyside derby.
You just talked yourself up.
It's crazy what you can do. I feel like I've had a pill or something. I'm ready to Let's try. Of course, I'm going to. I'm lagging a bit. Am I right? I'm back. He's back. Sorry, I got myself a bit too rolled up there. Where you're back. Shit in the bed, but I will be there. I will. The Sky Internet was just all right, calm down, mate. I am going. I'm going. Yeah.
But you're going. So what you're saying, Ben?
Bacon sandwich as well.
You're saying get up.
Don't go to
9:30. Smash a couple of pints.
Maybe not.
Do a bunch of coke.
Maybe not the drugs.
Bacon sandwiches. Yeah.
Come on, Will.
Knock out a couple gooners on it.
Poor for me, that.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. I'm acting I don't get pissed off a can of Fanta. look at me. Like, yeah, fuck you. A bit slur. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then knock out a couple of gooners on your way in. Get pumped up. Sit in your seat. Sing the whole 90 minutes. Come out. We've just held them to a 2-2 draw. Buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. No, I mean, the thing is, they were very smug going into the reverse fixture, and we shut them up then.
Yeah,
I know we didn't win, but we outplayed them in it. Like you could argue, we did outplay them. We were fantastic that game, and let's just hope that it was like it will replicate that, because that confidence we had throughout that game, big occasions, and you're looking at Maddison, big occasion player, like he thrives off that energy and that atmosphere, and just hoping that he can do that again. So you mentioned it briefly. Actually, before we go into the sort of tactical tweaks, because there has been a lot of people sort of pleading. Again, not actually going to see it or anything like that, but on Twitter pleading to change tactics. But we will get into that. But you tweeted that you're actually confident, Ben, in a win, lose or draw this game. So let's break down the fallout of every possible scenario, just as like a bit of pre-match therapy. If you're worried about the game, me and Ben are gonna break down every possible scenario, starting with the match is forfeited by some reason. All right, no stress. No,
Enjoy your lunch.
No stress. Absolutely no stress. Can enjoy your weekend. Enjoy lunch. So now we win. What happens if we win, Ben?
Going town. Yeah.
What are you doing if we win?
Town. Pints.
Town.
Don't know.
Going town.
Why am I going to work the next day?
Yeah. Town. What are you doing in town? Pints.
I've got to do the James Alcott Twitter space.
Mate,
on
it's
Sunday.
going to be absolute.
Oh, if we win.
Yeah, how are you going to do that pissed up?
We win. I will gladly go on there. Pissed up or not pissed up, I will go on there and I will give it everything I've got. I will bet every pound I've got. I will. But if we win, it's everything. It is everything. Oh, mate.
Yeah, mate. Imagine the Tottenham High Road. After we win, it'll be absolute bedlam. Like people just doing knee slides across the concrete. People with their tops off. Alistair Gold's gonna have his chopper out doing a fucking helicopter. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. Like you're just thinking of scenes.
He's so big, he can harpoon it up to the cockerel. Bring it down. Over his shoulder. Take out someone doing the skywalk. Yeah, you'd
but
take
if
that.
we draw, you'd still be just
content.
as happy, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd be content.
I mean, not just as happy, but again. I feel like I'm coming across really defeatist. I'm not. I think I do have a belief that we can do something in this game. We can. It's just we are obviously underdog going into this game, and there is a massive possibility that we're going to fucking hate our lives at the end of by the end of Sunday. But if we draw, I would be really content with that, because we've had a say on the title track. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
If Arsenal drop more points, I can't see them winning the league. I can't. And I'd be much more content. Like last weekend, obviously before the Chelsea result, before the Wolves result.
Yeah, it just felt like
Aston Villa
and breathed, didn't it? It was just like
they've done it. They've blown it. Obviously they bounced
but
back.
It's like I think everyone did go way too early on like this. It's done. It's over.
It did.
Like that, Arsenal goal difference is worth a point, really. They've got +10 on City. Not more. I think it's like +12. It's crazy. That they beat Chelsea 5-0. They went on this run of like beating everybody 5 or 6. Like they've got
that's mental.
That's a point. And even if we can take a point off them, that is huge. It's going to be so big in this. Like
huge, absolutely huge. Yeah. And there will be that feeling. that we have stopped them from winning the league, even with a draw. So Ben, with a loss, what would you do? Would you have a little? Would you get release all your anger out on the JLA?
There is no passion. There is no aggression.
Twitter live.
R.I.P. that guy. Yeah, R.I.P. that guy. Out. That was a better tribute to him than I should wet. Jesus Christ, you see that?
R.I.P. Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah. Imagine what
Yeah,
you would
that
have
was
thought last
atrocious,
night.
mate. That was absolutely atrocious. Fucking, I
Do
can't stand
you know
it.
how many Chelsea fans that I sort of see on social media that I went to a game that were
Exactly.
like, this is the first time that they ever
Yeah.
left the game early? Like, it was that bad. Like, getting beat 5-0 at Arsenal was one thing, but yeah. But again, like I said, they had chances, Chelsea. They did have chances. And it's like, am I delusional for thinking that we can go there and beat
Yeah,
them?
they did.
Not
Yeah, they did. If Chelsea
Where
can
is
make
it?
those chances, and if you're putting Son in the position that Jackson was in last night, Son absolutely buries
We
it.
saw
His
that from
XG
the.
is ridiculous, and
Well, you saw that from the
Jackson
goal.
is
The
so
goal,
shit.
not
But he
necessarily the
gets in
second
those
goal at the
positions.
Emirates,
Son will
because
be in
we,
those
that was
positions.
good pressing from Maddison. We won the ball back and turned them over and scored. But the first goal, like no other striker in the Premier League would dream of scoring a goal like that with Sonny. Like that cutback, he's got like 4 players around him. Just that deft touch. That was an unbelievable finish that day, and it just shows that like we have got that ability. We don't have to create those clear-cut chances to score goals. Like, I know the kind of philosophy of the way that Postecoglou wants to play is, in terms of a goal-scoring sense, is obviously making it as impossible to miss as you can. You know, making it, you're getting yourself in the positions where it's harder to miss. You know, Brennan Johnson, the kind of ones on the line where he's sliding in at the back post. But Sonny, like in that crowded penalty area, the cutback from Maddison, he's got 4 players around him, bottom corner. Didn't even think about it. It was like a snooker pot. Like it was like that. It was just so satisfying. Like against kind of all the odds, and it just shows you that we've got as much as Would you? We'll get on to sort of more team stuff and Richarlison obviously being back, but we can do this. I think their arses they could go, and I think we should look. It's you don't want to come out and say we're going to beat them, but
I think so.
Why can't we say that? Why can't we say that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I've still got a belief that we can harm them. We definitely can. It's just the other end. So let's talk about the tactical sort of. So basically, like I said, there's been a lot of tweets recently, and I'm talking specifically Twitter, but I'm sure it's in most social media platforms. But Spurs fans we are nervous about this game. Like, there's no hiding from
Mate,
that.
This game brings a level of anxiety that we could be top of the league by 10 points, and they could be behind us. And it was like, it's horrible. It's the worst game to watch.
Yeah.
But the best thing is, at least if you're in the stadium, you're there with people going through the same thing. Whereas, like, always watching this game at home is just like the worst thing. And that's why I hate the away game so much. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I went to the Emirates for the first time actually this year. I've been there for other things, not football. I've been there for gigs and stuff, but I've never been there for a game. And again, it just, I know you're in their place and it's like everyone's around you. Like when they score, it's just like fucking. And we were right next to the away fans, but at least you're there together. Do you know what I mean? Like watching that game at the Emirates at home on TV is the worst. I'd rather not watch it. It's like that kind of level. It's like, do we have to? But yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be watching it in a pub or something, in a sports bar at Centre Parks. If you are at Centre Parks and you're watching the game, come join me. But my girlfriend's booked a little weekend trip away.
Julia, what the fuck are you playing?
I haven't looked forward to it, but I was thinking North London Derby weekend. No,
he's not joking.
Yeah, Julia, I'm joking. But if we lose, you'll find me. You'll find me in the woods crying probably. If we
going to the Robin Hood
come join because I'll be watching on my own, which is fucking. I feel like pathetic in a pub.
I want to put an arrow through my head, mate. If we lose,
I actually don't know. I don't know what one it is. Julia sort of booked it. But there's been a lot of people with, like, sort of feeling anxious about the game and sort of posting their preferred lineups, their preferred like tactics, what they'd want to see. Ange ain't going to change his tactics. He's not going to change his tactics. So, after Arsenal pumped Chelsea 5-0 last night, obviously you're even more nervous because they've hit such a hot run of streak of form within the last couple of games. They're scoring so many goals. Do you want to see a little bit more of a tactical tweak in
I think you got to stick.
In our
we
defense,
had exactly these conversations going into the game at the Emirates, didn't we? And we can't go and play that way. We've got to be more pragmatic going to the Emirates. We're at home. The onus is on us. We've got to play.
Yeah.
I will play. We have to play. We have to. Look, I think in terms of tactical,
Yeah.
there's a difference between tactical. There's a difference between tactics and philosophy and mindset, and I think the philosophy and mindset has to be the same. Maybe a few tactical tweaks set up for individual battles to nullify some of their best players. Absolutely, 100%. We should be pragmatic in moments in that game to make sure that we're not getting opened up all the time, and we're not. You have to realise that in the game as well. It's not just about how you set up; it's about, oh god, they are getting on top of us here. Right, let's tweak, let's change things about. But the mindset and the philosophy shouldn't change. Maybe the tactics have to adapt slightly, but it's like, for example, if the left back is obviously the most pertinent question because we've got no Destiny Doggy. Do you play Ben Davies there, who will try and play that way? We saw that against Wolves, I think, where we had Porro and a Doggy out, and Emerson and Davis played, and they both tried to play in that inverted role, and both, struggled. But Davis was probably the better of the two, actually. And obviously, we got hit on the break that day. But we'd be equally probably as vulnerable with a Doggy in the side. But what you lose is that ability, that real attacking sort of sense and that attacking instinct that a Doggy brings to the team. So and that physicality as well, which is a massive thing in these kind of games. Obviously, when he's stepping into midfield as well, and how comfortable he is on the ball. And these aren't traits that Ben Davies doesn't necessarily possess. But also, of course, it's it's disappointment not to have a Doggy in the team. But yeah, I think maybe we need to be a little bit more cautious in certain moments, but in terms of tactics, but the mindset can't change. We can't go into our shell. We can't be scared. We've got to go and do this. We've got to think. I know it's all about. I know in terms of the fans and that, it's about stopping Arsenal and stopping them winning the league. But we need to think we can go out and win the game. We need to think we can go and play them at their own game and play them better and play them off the park in our own stadium. That can't change. We can hurt them. Chelsea, bizarrely, did hurt them. Aston Villa hurt them. Bayern Munich hurt them. Wolves had chances. Wolves hit the post. And exactly, you got to go for it. Scare them. Get at them. Johnson running at them. Kulusevski running at them. Sonny, I think Sonny's going to... I feel like Sonny is going to... I think he's going to do something special on Sunday. I've got this feeling about Sonny. Everyone doubting him, writing him off, saying he can't play up there.
Really? You serious? I mean,
I just think he gets it. He gets what this means. Yeah.
He loves this game as well. He loves this fixture. Yeah. I'm with you. The thing is, I'm trying to think of the games that sort of get people scared about Arsenal, and like the City game. City, that was one of the most offensive City displays you're ever going to see on a Pep Guardiola.
You're talking about the one of the Emirates where they
every
beat
team that City, Arsenal sort of blown away. They weren't playing like all out attack.
Oh, 0-0.
No.
Well, that wasn't even Pep. That was Arteta, the way that he stunk out the gaff. Guardiola, they tried to go for it. It was just that it was more.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that is true. Yeah, he just did that.
No,
yeah,
I don't think.
Do you reckon
so.
they'll do that again against us? No, I don't think. I think they'll have a go at us.
And
but
also,
then we'll
we've got players that thrive in space.
And you sort of
City isn't necessarily about the space. It's about what they can do when. It's about flooding those men forward and having those players that can really pick that pass in tight spaces. And obviously, Arsenal shut them down really well. But City don't really have runners in behind. It's all about control and it's all about pulling teams apart because teams are naturally going to want to go to the Etihad. Arsenal played like a lower side, a lower league, not a lower league side or a lower Premier League side would necessarily go in there. Do you know what I mean? Like they set up like that and they got the result that might end up helping them on the way to win the title, God forbid. But Spurs, with the players like Johnson and players like Werner, if they're to play Sonny, they thrive in that space. So Arsenal have got to be careful of what they do. Yeah, but then it's like if they do sit that deep, are they going to lure us into putting more men forward and what they can do on the counter attack as well, and kind of having Havertz as that springboard striker to play off and go long, and it's just
yeah. They pressed us really well in the reverse fixture. My biggest worry is their set pieces because obviously that's been one of the main strengths. That's been the stuff that sort of that carries them through those games where they're not on the best of form or they're being nullified. But and that's obviously a massive weakness for us. So I'm really worried about that. But I think in the actual game we can go at them and we can sort of give them a go and then it's anyone's game to win. How would we win this game?
What was one of the things as well with Arsenal going into these couple of games against Wolves and against Chelsea, they were starting to look a bit leggy. Arsenal key men, Rice looking like they played a lot of football, especially compared to City, which might be an advantage for them in this running in terms of the amount of players that have played significant minutes compared to what City have done. But again, they've kind of put pay to that over the last couple of games and kind of contradicted that. But again, it's still 2 more games in the body for these players coming into the North London derby. But momentum is also important at this time of the season. So that kind of counteracts that a bit as well. Midfield is the key thing because especially the way they played yesterday with Partey and Rice, there's that fear that they might be able to shut you down and sort of stop you doing from what you want to do. Players like Maddison not being able to get into the game. But then you could argue that too much focus being on Maddison opens up the pitch for other players as well. And it's time for someone to step up and take that sort of mantle. Obviously, Sonny, whether he plays against those 2 centre-backs in Saliba and Gabriel, they're trying to, they're so tight on him, but you've got other players sort of little buzzing around. Like I said, teams have caused Arsenal problems in the games that they've played against better sides that they haven't swept away. Yes, they still might have swept them away, but there's still been chances in the games, and I think we'll get some. But it's about that midfield battle for sure. It is about that, and I'd still, we're recording this 3 or 4 days out from the game, and I'm still can't quite work out what he's going to do in terms of the midfield battle, in terms of the structure, and in terms of what we go with personnel-wise. Like, you'd imagine that, like Maddison, for all the chat about Maddison recently, Maddison is going to play. Like, it probably causes you more problems than it's worth to not play him in this game. You want him fired up for this. You do. Like, people are maybe like, he's going to be too fired up. He's been a bit petulant recently, but you want him to be fired up against Arsenal because he will be feeling that pressure. He'll be feeling that chat around him about, is he as good as he was at the start of the season? Maddison and Odegaard being compared at the start and now throughout the season, obviously Odegaard. He will want to prove something on Sunday. Whether he does it or not is a different question, but I think Maddison has to play for me for that. And then it's just who do you kind of go with in those other 2 spots? Obviously, Basuma had an amazing game at the Emirates, but again, his form has kind of been up and down, massively up and down. Again, Basuma, you look at him in the Newcastle game, it wasn't necessarily about... I think Basuma sort of got wrapped up in what was a poor performance from the team, but also the fact that Newcastle pressed the life out of us and set up in a way that didn't really allow him to get on the ball and come short and drive and get out and break the press like he was doing against Arsenal at the Emirates. He's got that experience of doing it against Arsenal. Maybe he will step up. I think Bentancur gives you so much like kind of poise and gives you that calmness in midfield as well. Sarr gives you those legs and that industry that I think will be needed in a game like this. So it's honestly anyone's kind of guess as to what he's going to go for, really.
Well, so going back to the sort of tactical tweaks and stuff like that, like we know Ange isn't going to do anything mental. When we were down to 9 men against Chelsea with like 4-1 down, we were still playing how he wanted to play. And he's not going to change it just because it's Arsenal. He's not going to feel pressured into this, forced into changes. He's not going to do it. And obviously we know like Doggy's out, so Davis comes in. But I think the thing that we can do is maybe personnel. Obviously, Davis does make us a little bit more that defensively structured. But I don't think a Doggy's bad at defending. I think he was fantastic against Saka. Obviously, he was a bit shaky in the first 10 minutes, but Davis is that sort of level, calm-headed, experienced,
I don't feel worried about
steady Eddie at left back. Like, I trust Davis, and even in games I'm not even worried about Davis at all. It's not like someone's coming in for it's not like Emerson Royal coming in for Porro, or hopefully Porro's apparently back in training, which is great news. But I'd feel nervous about that. I would feel nervous about that. But not to say Emerson's terrible. I just think there's a massive drop off. Davis does give you a bit of that sort of security, and I was just thinking. I've seen a lot of back three shouts. Agree. Van der Ven left back, Dragusin, Romero. This isn't the game to start changing. After all this season, having a set way of playing, a set structure and a set formation, Arsenal isn't the game to just push that aside and start something different. We'd get blown away because we're so drilled into playing the same way, and that sort of continuity and that and doing the same moves. That would be too much change into such a big, significant match. I just think it'd be too much on the players.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, you obviously said about Maddison, you can't drop Maddison just for this game, and he's so impactful in these type of games. I agree with you. My thinking was like, obviously Davis comes in for a Doggy. Could he put like Bentancur in that Maddison position and try and make him facilitate like everything that Maddison does in the system and play the exact same way. It's just when we're defending, have that a little bit more defensive structure in the midfield, or trying to follow runs in from Rice. I don't know who will play in the number 6, Jorginho or Partey, or because Bentancur is such a great presser, and also he's a much improved player in tracking back or getting back than Maddison. And having maybe Bentancur, Sarr, Bissouma. I don't know, but again, you've convinced me. Maddison's the way to go. You got to play Maddison in this type of game. But I'm just thinking, you don't have to change for those who are worried about but like saying Ange should change his tactics. I don't think he should change his tactics. There's things you can do and carry on playing the same way that sort of can nullify Arsenal, or if there's an opposition that has a load of strengths, can still nullify the opposition's strengths and still carry on playing the same way you want to do it. That's what the little tweaks are about. Personnel, maybe Ben Davies, I'm happy with, and we can kind of even do. I know I just said we won't, but if it makes you feel better, Ben Davies can play that left centre back role, and then do you know what I mean?
On the inverted fullbacks thing as well, like
I don't expect too much change. But
they might go in the game and say that, all right, one of you goes and one of you kind of joins in midfield and kind of obviously joins up with the midfield and kind of But the thing is, it's like which wing do you want to leave the space in behind?
Tweaks.
Obviously, Porro is more suited to coming in inside and playing that role, and then you can kind of go to a 3 like in possession during the game. Obviously Davis then can then tuck in, and Romero and Van der Ven at the back, and obviously depends obviously who they play as well down that left hand side, whether it's Martinelli. You don't want to leave that space for him to run into, even though he's not really been firing that much recently. You'd imagine they might go with Trossard, who's not as much of a threat in behind, but he's more of a threat maybe running at you. It's just about, I think, recognising the moments of when to do it, when to both go, when to invert. We can't be scared. We've got Romero and Van der Ven there for a reason. I don't think we should change too much. I think Bentancur's a good shout because I think he's a great, like I said, he's a great presser. If that midfield for Arsenal is starting to look a little bit leggy, even to bring, I think bringing Bentancur maybe off the bench in this game as well could be really, really vital. And how Spurs can change it from there, like obviously with the front 3. I've kind of been calling for Kulusevski to play because of that ball retention. We can't. I think he will. I think he will. I enjoyed what I saw in that cameo against Newcastle. And again, I know he's 3-0 down and all that, but
yeah, I think so.
I think in these games, like, it's not the sexy thing, and people kind of getting on Grealish's back, but like keeping the ball in the final third is really, really important in these kind of games to continue to probe, not to lose it. That's how we've been conceding goals and being vulnerable in the transition, because we're giving the ball away. And I know Kulusevski's not been quite at his best at that. He's been giving the ball away in those areas. Obviously, the Luton goal kind of comes from that. But I think he's been on the bench for a couple of games. I think now is a game to bring him back in. And I think I'd probably go with Johnson off the left. Obviously, Richarlison back in training as well, which is big for us. Again, like I said, changing the game from the bench is going to be massive. I think it'd be interesting to see if Richarlison actually does start, because do you want a sharp Richarlison to come off the bench for half an hour and try and make an impact? Or do you want one that's not quite fully fit? When I say sharp, obviously fit enough to kind of play the 30 minutes and knows, right, go on and make an impact, and that kind of fuels you that little bit more that you need. Or do you want him to start the game and not look quite at it, but he's probably the better profile against Saliba and Gabriel? I don't know. How do you sort of see that?
I think he
agree.
should.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's been out for a few weeks now. I think he should come off the bench. I think he'd be such a nuisance off the bench, just chasing players down, being that sort of hustler in the box. If it's where we're trying to be a little bit more direct or just getting balls into the box, he's there. Much more of a presence than Sonny up front. Stop it there. I just think start Sonny. Sonny's so reliable in this fixture. And Richarlison, he's the type of player, he just thrives. Again, he's another player that just thrives off this sort of occasion. So I think bring him on. Have a little bit of bite to him. I think he's the type of person that he'd see the rumours. He'd see the rumours about Spurs fans in his absence, thinking, "Oh, we need a striker now. We need to get a striker in. I'd be happy to replace Richarlison if we need." He has that sort of personality, but I'm going to prove to this fan base at home that I'm the guy. I am that guy, pal. Trust me. And being in the occasion like this, in front of the home fans, and coming on and being a catalyst. I can see that happening. I can see Richard. I don't think I'd start him though. And I know Fulham. The
I
Fulham
would.
game we got turned over playing Kulusevski, Son, Brennan Johnson. I think I'll go with that front three though because they were so fantastic against Aston Villa. Werner has that bit of attacking sort of dynamic and sort of direct for that directness off the bench. Richarlison just a nuisance off the bench, changing the dynamic again. There's so if we have Werner and Richarlison both on the bench
as well.
There's so many different ways we can change the dynamic and attack. And and they were fantastic. They were so good. You say about the midfield, getting at the midfield because Arsenal's midfielders
I think they were, but now it's like those couple of games. Just like that win against Wolves. And Rice was class against Wolves, and
giving them a bit of life. And you could argue, and Chelsea, and you could argue though, Spurs midfield looks leggy. But we've had this 2 weeks, so hopefully it's okay. Who will be our most important player in this game then?
I think probably Van der Ven or Romero. I think obviously that defensive stability is going to be absolutely massive because Arsenal will get chances. I think it could also be down to whoever starts in that deep midfield position to stop Odegaard. If you can stop Odegaard, you can stop Arsenal to an extent. He is just, with pains to say it, but he's just a joke. Like he's just an incredible footballer. As kind of seen evident against Chelsea the other night. He's fantastic. And it's like with Odegaard, there was kind of this narrative around him going missing in big games.
Instrumental.
That ain't the case. That's not true. That's just not true. People just see like someone like that maybe not popping up with a goal, getting an assist, kind of judging number 10s or number 8s kind of in that way. But everything goes through him. He dictates the tempo, he slows it down, he speeds it up. He's got that killer pass. Like you give him the ball and something will happen. Like so stopping Odegaard will be the key, and whether that's kind of Romero stepping out in defence and getting tight to him. I know Van der Ven's not that sort of defender. He's not as front-footed. Whether it's Bentancur or Basuma or Sarr who starts in there, just to follow him around the pitch. Because if you can stop him, Arsenal are a great side without him as well. Don't get me wrong, but they're not as good. They're not as good if you can stop Odegaard, stop the supply. He is a quality player. So I think if you can, our key man is whoever stops him or whoever is tasked with stopping Odegaard.
Yeah, it's going to be busy. It's going to be a massive and hectic and busy afternoon for our defence and our midfield, whoever's playing there, and then obviously the attack can do their thing. But the game's going to be won in that midfield and that defence, I think. Van der Ven was fantastic in this. This was one of the games where we were thinking, "Fuck me, who have we signed?" Straight away with that slide tackle on Nketiah. Like and just the aura about him in a game like this, to the way he played in the occasion, and you thought, oh, wow, we've signed someone special here. Romero, on the other hand, in the reverse fixture, it wasn't his best game of the season. He was fine.
He was unlucky.
He was competent.
Yeah.
It's just he had obviously the handball, which was unlucky. Very unlucky, and obviously the own goal was very unlucky. But in his mind, this is a chance for him to redeem himself from those mistakes. And Havertz always has a problem playing up against Romero. He always pockets Havertz, and I'm touching wood right now because I know I've just jinxed it. But Romero loves to play against Havertz. They have some sort of like conflict between them. There's something between them, and Romero thrives.
Was it the Chelsea game? Was it the Chelsea game where Skip scored that brilliant goal?
I think Havertz is scared of Romero. Like he looks so shook. Yeah. He was, and it was Havertz. He just absolutely pocketed Havertz. Havertz didn't want to know him, and that's the thing. In these games where you're nervous, thinking the atmosphere, the occasion. If Romero can clatter Havertz and get the ball, obviously don't get sent off. Don't do Chelsea. Don't do that. If he can do that and just shake and get Arsenal shook, get the players shook, it's a massive game for Romero. I actually think I think Romero will be our most significant player, our most impactful player. If he's at top form, I think Arsenal got a problem. Van der Ven, Romero they are such a great pairing, and Romero will have that bit of something to prove against Arsenal. And these are the types of games as well. The rival fans judge Romero off, and he hasn't been most fortunate. Obviously, the reverse fixture conceding a penalty, scoring the own goal, getting sent off at Chelsea. The games where you're under the spotlight, Romero's been unlucky or had bad games, and he'll want that. He'll want to prove those sort of doubters and haters wrong in this game. This is the perfect game to do it. Obviously, he's going to be busy all game, but he's going to be that aggressor. He's going to be that player that you want. The ideal situation is that Romero crunches someone straight away, gets the fans completely rolled up, shakes those Arsenal players. Come on!
Porro's good for that as well, isn't
he gets the ball, obviously, clean tackle, but absolutely goes through someone. Gets the whole atmosphere up. Yeah, he is a little... Yeah, like chest bump. You need that. And Romero sort of... He epitomises that passion and that aggression that you need in a North London derby. Like, this is what it's known for, and he epitomises that. I've got a question for you. It's sort of like a follow-up to that. Who will be the player Spurs mould this Ange project around?
I think Romero is so key to Spurs. I think that he doesn't get the respect that he deserves from the kind of wider media and neutrals. People see him as rash. People see him as getting red cards and getting booked, flying into tackles, being reckless. That's not the case with Christian Romero. It may have been the case at points during his Spurs career, but one red card this season, the same amount as players like Virgil van Dijk. You know, he's composed. He's a cool centre-back. He's one of the best line-breaking passes. He's one of the best progressive centre-backs, you know, in terms of setting up and how we want to play out from the back. He is so key to that. Van de Ven gets all the plaudits, rightly so. Van de Ven is a Rolls-Royce. He is excellent, all of those things. But I think we've spoken about this a lot before. Like, a lot of it with Van de Ven, in terms of the praise that he gets, and maybe it's overblown to an extent, is because of the aesthetics and because people are seeing him crunch into these tackles, these incredible recovery runs. Whereas Romero, what he does is more old-fashioned and more... And it's more old-fashioned in a sense of how well he plays up against big centre-backs, and Havertz is a good example of that. We saw how well he dealt with Antonio in the sense that if defenders want to get their back to goal and back into you, Romero's very good at that. He's very good at nipping the ball back just out in front of the defender. He's very good going tight to the man, rarely gives fouls away by doing that. And that then springs Spurs in terms of our ability to counter-attack as well. Romero, how often do you see it? We saw it so many times in the game away at Aston Villa where he steps up to the halfway line. His reading of the game is superb. And against a striker, maybe like a Watkins in that instance, that wants to back into him and wants to roll him, he's there, nips in, someone picks it up from the midfield, and it's a 3-on-2 or a 4-v3 and we're away. And that could be so important tomorrow in terms of those turnovers. I say tomorrow, sorry. In terms of in the North London derby, those turnovers, you know, are going to be so important. And I think Romero, he will be the key, I think, to whatever good Spurs do in this kind of project under Ange Postecoglou. Like I said, I absolutely love Mickey van der Ven, and it's an incredible partnership. They're so well made for each other. But I think that Van der Ven gets the plaudits in the media that Romero also deserves. But it's natural, it's understandable. Van der Ven is maybe more an impressive player in terms of his highlights reel. Like I said, those recovery runs, those crunching tackles, you know, that the kind of physicality of him as well. Like, he's a bit more of a unique centre-back. We've not really seen someone like him. Obviously, he comes in, he's the fastest player in the league. He's got the fastest sprint ever recorded in Premier League history.
Yeah.
And this isn't me taking anything away from Van der Ven, but I just think Romero is so crucial to us. And I think could be so crucial on Sunday against Arsenal in terms of, like you said, dealing with Havertz, but also being able to make us a better team in terms of counter-attacking Arsenal, turning them over. He's done it so many times throughout the season. There was a graph that came up at some point a few months ago or a few weeks ago that showed expected threat all across the pitch in every single zone, which is basically, you know, for anyone that kind of doesn't really know what that means, think of what XG means in terms of, you know, the chances of scoring a goal in that position if you take that shot 100 times. And obviously expected threat isn't quite as clear cut as something like XG because it doesn't always result in a goal, but it's how much threat essentially each player brings to that zone. Obviously, you're going to see wingers naturally higher up the pitch, you're going to see strikers in the box. But Romero was the furthest defender ahead, he was on that graph, on that pitch map, the furthest defender up the pitch, right on the halfway line, in the opposition half. And that just shows you what he does affects games for Spurs. He gets high up the pitch, he reads the games, he gets in the back of strikers, turns the ball over, and Spurs are away. Like I said, Aston Villa was such a good example of that. And I think we can see a lot of that on Sunday. He's captain material as well. I don't understand what people say in terms of people see him as this reckless, rash individual. Why would you make him a vice-captain? Making him a vice-captain has actually been the making of him, really. We've seen Romero be a great defender since he's come to Spurs, under Conte, partly last season as well, not
Yeah,
so
I
much.
agree.
But again, he was kind of almost one of the fall guys in a really struggling team. And yes, he got sent off a few times. People think of that AC Milan game. Yes, he let us down there. But what let us down, what people fail to recognise as much, is the tactics in those games and the way we set up. Romero's red card and his rashness in that moment is just a small part of that. But he's brought such a big part of his game to Spurs this season, has made such a big impact. So I think, like I said, in terms of what good Spurs are going to do, if he is the guy, or if he's not the guy, he will be one of the main cogs in that. And I think he's so important. He doesn't get the credit he deserves at all, in my opinion. He's an excellent centre-back, borderline world-class. He's won a World Cup. We're going to see it again this summer at the Copa America, I think. Shows his class. He's truly excellent. And you can see how much he loves playing for the club as well. It means something to him. It does mean something to him. That he's got that back. I think he was tired under Conte. He was tired of it. There were rumours about him potentially wanting to leave if Conte was to stay. And just come in. And again, it kind of points towards this fact of like people were criticising the Ange Postecoglou appointment, saying, how are you going to be able to keep your best players with a manager like that? It's about the principles that lay down. It's not about the name. And if you can get players like Romero who have the potential to go on and play for someone like a Man City, play for Barcelona, play for Real Madrid, in my opinion, if you've got someone like Ange Postecoglou to come in and just unlock that, which I think he really has, you've got such a great defender on your hands. And I think we're going to see a big performance from him on Sunday.
Yeah. I think he is world class, mate. I genuinely do. When he plays for Argentina, when he has that Argentina shirt on, they don't look like there doesn't look like any defenders that are capable of being better than him. He's ridiculous. But the thing is, he plays in a system right now that exploits and reveals every vulnerability you have. That's why you have to be such an incredible defender. That's why most defenders, the defenders that aren't Van der Ven and Romero in our squad, don't really look like they can cut it. And that I just think you're constantly defending in huge amounts of space around you for attacking players to exploit. You're constantly running back towards your own goal. It's such a difficult thing to do. And Romero, for the most part, same with Van der Ven, they make it look easy. They don't look like they break a sweat doing it. They're so composed. And Romero, he's such a composed defender on the ball. Like you say, we haven't seen a player that can pick a pass like him since Toby Alderweireld, like from defence. He's so good at those sort of defence-breaking passes, or cut it through the lines and through midfield and straight to a Maddison or whoever's holding the ball up front. And that goes under the radar all the time. And yeah, a lot of people have this sort of this perception of him and a preconception of him. But again, it's not true. Like you said, him being the vice captain, he's dealt with that so well, and he's gone up a level in his leadership. And you're thinking about future planning. In 3 years, there probably is a world where Son isn't starting every game. And I can't think of anyone better to be a captain than him. If you're looking at, we need winners. He's a fucking World Cup winner, mate. He was unbelievable against Mbappe in the World Cup final. He didn't again. He showed his composure in a game like that. He's got it in him, and I think he's 25 now. And this Ange process is a 4-year plan, or hopefully it's more. But right now it's a 4-year plan. That means by the end of it, or by hopefully when we're in our pump, he's going to be 28. He's going to be in his prime. He's going to be in his peak. When a defender, especially of his attributes, of reading the game, being that aggressor, 28 is probably his peak. Do you agree?
No.
I think it probably is, and he's very quick. He's not like flashy fast like Van der Ven.
Yeah.
He is very quick. He gains that sort of momentum when he runs, and he just charges at people, doesn't he? But he's not going to lose that pace until he's in his mid-30s probably. Again, he doesn't rely on it, so he's just going to get better and better. By the time he's 28, as hopefully captain of Tottenham, he will be leading us to something special. I really believe that. And obviously he'll be 28. I think Van der Ven will be 25, probably the age he is now.
Yeah.
That defence in the next 4 years is going to be so significant for what we're going to go on and achieve, because he is a winner. And he is world class, I believe, and he makes this role look so easy when in reality
it's one of the
hardest defended roles
that
in the Premier League.
Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen partnership blossomed over time, and like you said, Van der Ven, 22, 23 years old, Romero 25, going to be 26 this year. There's still so much more to come, and you're looking at that 3 years down the line and how well they can both continue to mature in their own game. Van der Ven, first year in the Premier League. Romero, an experienced player in his own right now, but there's still so much more to come. And the fact that we're seeing this level now, and look, there's a misconception, I think, around Spurs' defence a little bit in terms of obviously people will look at our defence and see that we're conceding a lot of goals.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite often it's because those centre-backs are vulnerable and they're exposed. And I say they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable because they are exposed. You know, we saw that with Van der Ven against Newcastle. He might have got turned into a meme. He was unfortunate on that day. In terms of those slips, it was unlucky, and that's what happens when you put under immense pressure in those moments because you can't keep the ball further up the pitch. And I think once we do get that proper, maybe number 6 in front of them, and that striker that can really retain that ball in the final third and bring the other players into play more than maybe Son Heung-Min is doing now because that's not his game, then I think that elevates the defence as well to an extent where they're not under that much pressure all the time. They're not kind of having to make up for other failings on other areas of the pitch. There's so much spotlight on them. And I think they both get unfairly criticised because of the amount of goals that Spurs have conceded. If you looked at Romero and Van der Ven, especially because of the Newcastle game, other than the Newcastle game, how many games could you count where they've had bad games individually or bad games together? It's very, very minimal, which is odd and kind of but almost like paradoxical for like a team that's conceded, I think, 50 goals in the Premier League. But so have Aston Villa. But because of the manner in which the way that Spurs are conceding the goals, in terms of those transitions, looking that little bit more open than Villa, it looks and it feels worse. But for me, Romero and Van der Ven aren't part of that problem. They're really, really not. They're such an exciting partnership. And Romero, I think, they are both the key to what Spurs are going to do. They are two fundamentals of what Spurs are going to achieve. But I think Romero, just for me, like with his experience and how well he's going to continue to blossom.
Yeah,
I think, like I said, I think there is an argument to say he is world class.
Integral.
I think he is. But other people maybe not see it that way.
Yeah. I think he gets lost as well in the sort of when you're looking at the best players in our team. He definitely does get lost. And there was moments from like last season he was becoming a bit of a scapegoat. And I just think he's so integral to the way we play, and he's going to be, like you say, that experience he's going to hold in the next few years. He's going to be a beast, an absolute beast. So vital for us. And then lastly, mate, how far off are we from Arsenal? And is it realistic to think that we could catch them through this summer window when it comes to incomings? But because Arsenal probably are going to strengthen striker, linked with like Isak, Gyökeres, maybe a Tony. Then they're linked with Elise. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, where the fuck would he even play? And then obviously like a holding midfielder type to replace Pai, Jorginho, that Zubimendi type. I'll look at that team and think, fuck me, like I can't actually really spot any holes in that team anymore. Obviously, like Timber and that, I keep forgetting who plays for him. But how far are Tottenham away from it? Because you're looking at our bench thinking, this is the strongest bench we've had in a while. You can see it coming together, the puzzle's coming together. You can see we know, we're all aware of the missing pieces in the team. We're all aware of that. So how far, what positions can we strengthen that we then are at the same level, caught up over 2 years.
It's what they did
to an Arsenal
and
project
maybe
that's been
partly
lasting
what
6
they
years.
failed to do as well and kind of sign that striker. But
loads more money than us.
With Havertz, whether he's that number 9 or he's that number 8, they still have become a better attacking side with him in it. It's not always as simple as and cut and dry as like we need that striker to come in because he is the missing piece. Havertz might not be the missing piece, but it's helped them get closer. But Rice was that, and that's what they've done. And I think that's what Spurs need to do. The problem is that it's such a limited market, which is why these players cost so much money. I think if you're looking at someone like João Paulinho, I think he's the closest you're going to get. And obviously, you're not going to get him for as long because he's older than Rodri and he's older than Rice in terms of the next best profile in the league, or certainly the one that's actually gettable for Spurs. And Paulinho certainly is. I'm still not massively convinced on Onana in terms of whether he can be that for Spurs and take us to that next level. Again, I think he'd be a good signing for the project. He wouldn't be cheap. I think he'd allow you to play him in a number of positions. I'm still not 100% convinced he is a 6. Is he that player that's going to go and pick the ball up off the centre-backs and drive out like Rodri, like Rice? I'm not sure. I think maybe he needs to play with someone else in there that can help him do that. But it's that profile of signing. That's what's going to win leagues. That's maybe why. Look at Liverpool, for example. Liverpool are failing at the moment because they're. I saw a stat just now while we were going through. I don't know if I saved it. in terms of I think they sort of half solved the problem of getting to that point that Arsenal got out by signing Endo. Endo's been a massive boost, but they're still missing maybe something in that area. But it's also the forward line, like 1 goal in 9 for Nunes, 1 in 6 for Diaz, and 1 in 8 for Salah. They're obviously misfiring at the moment, and they lack that ruthlessness. I was watching the game thinking they missed that Mane, they missed that killer. They missed that Firmino that can link the play up and have that composure in the final third. And I think, that number 6 and that striker position is so important to a team like Liverpool and a team like Arsenal. They're still trying to rebuild that. They've brought in the Rice, but I think that's where Spurs are, and we're still 2 or 3 players away. And that might take 2 or 3 years still, but we've got to be patient. It can't just be about getting to where Arsenal are. We're not that far. It's a bit of a glass ceiling. Like, you can see it, but is it attainable yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not next year, but I think it is over the next sort of few years in terms of being able to catch up to them. But I said this in a video the other day I made about Spurs and about money, because there was a tweet going around that was untrue from Fabrizio Romano, supposedly, that Spurs are going to spend 200 to 250 million pounds this summer. Backing Ange Postecoglou isn't just about the money. We've backed Postecoglou by giving him the players that he actually does want. That's what we've done. That's been the shift since he's come in, and since Paratici has sort of been working with him, and now since Johan Lang's come in. He signs off these players and he wants them. And that's what backing is, as well as spending the money. Yes, you have to spend money to get there, and Spurs will have to spend money to close that gap to Arsenal, but it's more about giving Ange Postecoglou the profiles and the players and the characters that he wants. That's the definition of backing the manager. It's not just about the money. Yeah.
Yeah, and we already have this summer. We've already bought like one player coming in Bergvall, who we got for 8.5 million, which is like you forget about that because it's not, you're not spending a fortune on him. But I guarantee it'll be an important player for us next year. But yeah, obviously you can't really compare. I think the worry is that if Arsenal don't win the league this year, they'll win it next year. So we want to be as good as them as fast as possible, try and stop them winning the league. But in reality, they're 5-6 years into this project, and there's a whole sort of like a misconception around them thinking, this new project that Arteta's built. Fuck off! No, it's not. He's been there for ages. He's been there for absolute ages. And I think it puts pressure on us to accelerate this process when we need to just forget all the external factors like Arsenal, and just grow organically as a club, and let these players, without the pressure of that, we need this, let them develop in this system. Just focus on ourselves. And I know that's like a cliche, but we need to just focus on ourselves. These players are going to reach their pump. They're so young now. We've got such a young team. They're going to reach their peak with Postecoglou in this system in probably about 2-3 years. But I just think also we're so close right now to blowing most teams in the Premier League away consistently. We're so close, and we're not at all. We're probably about 25% to be in the finished article. And even if we bring in that number 6, that winger, that 1v1 specialist, that striker, that would be really hard for teams to defend against us, because we can blow them away with so many different assets, so many different positions on the pitch that can sort of grab a game by the scruff of the neck and be a catalyst in taking us through games and winning games. And yeah, you know what? It was interesting what you were saying about that, getting those players with almost aura, that cheat code, or getting that player that has that winning sort of. They ooze winner. They ooze like a success, and they have that aura off them. Obviously, Liverpool did it with Bayern, Van Dijk, Alisson, those types of players. They ooze aura. You could argue Spurs didn't do that when we were so close to winning that league under Poch. We needed that one more signing. I think Dele Alli said it. We needed that one more signing to just come in and take us over the line. And my worry is Arsenal are just going to keep doing that every single summer until they do it. But again, we can't really focus on that. We've got to focus on ourselves. But when we were playing under Poch, and we did need that one player, we didn't have that player that just like sort of takes a game by the scruff of the neck, knows how to win, and have that winning experience. But we need to sign those players with aura, that confidence, and that fearlessness, because we play in a fearless way. But I don't think we should put pressure on it. I think it's going to happen organically. We're not that far off Arsenal, like you say, but yeah, they're going to keep improving. So we just got to focus on ourselves. We've got to focus on ourselves, and already the trajectory we're on, and how quickly we've accelerated to that top 5 from where we were, from absolute chaos and depression, and we just completely capitulated as a club. Kane leaving, Paratici in prison, no manager, no director of football, Levy out protests and chants of the game, to where we are now. And within a year, where could we be in 2? Think about that. And obviously we've got this team and we've got the structure now of a team. They've got the core of a team that can go places in 2-3 years' time. So
exactly.
I think just keep that confidence, keep that belief. We'll get there eventually. We just need to forget all the external factors around us, because that's the thing that's put pressure on us. And I think, sorry, I've been ranting on, but I think that's one of the main reasons why you're seeing so many people just go into meltdown after every loss. They know full well this is a long process, but they don't like that. They want to do it now. We've already tried the win now managers. It didn't fucking work. It doesn't work. You need to let this happen organically.
Yeah.
Because and forget the, like I just said like 5 times, forget that external
factor. And it's
factor,
harder to do it when it's Arsenal, isn't
that's
it?
what's
makes
winding you up. Just ignore it. It was just so hard to do. No one can do that. No one can.
If this was Liverpool, we wouldn't be having these conversations.
Right, the fucking fans are all over, everywhere. You can't escape Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
Wouldn't care. We'd be so happy and content with everything right now. But it's just Arsenal. You don't want Arsenal, because for years, Spurs and Arsenal have been parallel, or there or thereabouts together, and we've fallen off, and they've made that jump, and that's the worst thing in the world. We need to catch up, but it will happen. But it will be a process, and who knows what Arsenal will achieve in that meantime. Hopefully they win fuck all. But there's that possibility, and whilst there's that possibility, it's just eating up at the Spurs fans. We've grown a bit impatient. We just need to forget about it.
No, you're completely
and
right.
just watch us grow. But yeah, I know that was a very long-winded sort of answer, but that brings this episode to a close. Ben, I'll catch up with you.
That pod on Monday is either going to be,
and it will be interesting to see what sort of mood we're in after the
exactly.
game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it might be over before it's begun.
Make or break for the There and Doing podcast already.
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, literally. I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Ben, thank you very much, mate. You can find Ben.
Get excited about the OnlyFans
on Twitter.
That's pretty much it, really.
TikTok, OnlyFans, YouTube
TikTok,
coming soon.
Trying to get.
What else, mate?
Yeah, exactly. I might leave viewers disappointed in terms of what he can bring to the table, but you know, big bet, exactly. By name, by nature. Don't ask my girlfriend.
Big Ben.
Ben. Twitter, TikTok, mainly TikTok. Nearly 15k now. Fucking come on, boys. Nearly trying to get 20k before the end of the season. Not sure it's going to happen, but we shall see. Got about a month to go.
Mate, that's fucking sick.
But daring and doing, bloody YouTube, get involved. If you're watching us on here, we've had a few videos kind of come out more like YouTube style. They are clips from the podcast, but if you want to kind of consume bits in more bite-sized content, obviously if you're listening to this, then you probably won't want to. But if you know someone that might, share it with them, make them subscribe. If you could just subscribe and leave a like on the videos anyway, just show us some love. You know, we're doing well. We're kind of taking steps up to level up the game on like YouTube and everywhere. Will's fucking smashed it out with the thumbnails on YouTube. We've had some genuinely had some good feedback. I've messages being like, "Oh, did you do this?" I'm like, "No, it's Will."
Cheers.
So legend. We're leveling up, and it's going to be, a big few months and a big summer kind of going into next season. So and all your support hasn't gone unnoticed, and we really appreciate it. So class, everybody, freaking class. I've actually just realised on my Instagram, I got a message from your mum again.
It's been unbelievable. Thanks so much. Yeah,
I literally looked. I just gone on the inbox. 2 messages. One of them from Proby. Shout out Proby.
Bring that up again,
and also one of them is from. I'm not going to bail out your mum's name, but
Teresa.
You did.
Proby legend.
Mummy Hester. Big up, mum. Big up,
I already
Mumsy.
said it. Fuck.
Shit. Mother Teresa. Exactly.
Exactly.
Don't go and add Will's mum.
Mother Teresa.
Just
big
a
up
clapping
Mother
emoji.
Teresa.
I think it's a response to a story.
Cat's out of bag now.
It's a template.
What's she saying? But yeah, no. Honestly, thank you so much for the support so far. And so basically, the plan is as well. So obviously, we're doing these like with the thumbnails. We're trying to level up and get as much out as possible. Because we want to get the exposure. Because in the summer,
pods might scale
obviously, when
back
there's
a
not
bit.
anything
We'll
really
still be
going
doing
on,
stuff, and we'll
we
still be
want to
doing
be
podcasts
active
and
on YouTube and become almost
like,
YouTube
let us know what you
based
want as well. Like
and
whether you
give you
to fill
something
kind of the
else.
gap. Do you want us to do England stuff, like some Euros bits?
Of course,
like,
yeah.
do you want us to do stuff? Obviously, there'll be a focus on
Yeah,
Spurs as
yeah,
well.
exactly.
But like, if you want to kind of hear more from us, if you let us know, like, that's the most important thing. If you want that, we'll do it. If you don't want it, we won't do it. But
yeah,
we're
exactly.
growing. Obviously, growing on YouTube helps us kind of bring exposure to the rest of the podcast and stuff. And obviously, we're going to put a lot more focus on there over the summer. So yeah, your support is much appreciated. And yeah, leave a like rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts as well. Review massively help us out. Auto download as well.
Yeah.
Become an auto downloader. Send us, as well, like, show us a bit of love. Send us some screenshots of you listening to podcasts as well. Tag us in it. We'll reshare it on the stories and stuff. Show us a bit of love. So if you've made it this far, so nice one, people. This could be a big week for the pod with the North London derby.
It's so good when we see that.
A win. It's going to be big. It's going to be big.
Yeah, massive. Ben, before
nil.
we end this, what's score predictions? I didn't want to ask, but go on, what's score predictions?
I think we're going to win, lose, or draw.
No way. You go over.
I think my head says.
Mate, you got to do it. You got to stick.
Fuck the head. 2-1 Spurs. Exactly.
You got to follow your heart. I'm saying a draw. I'd say
1-0. Yeah, 0-0.
Do you know what would be mad? I think everyone's expecting like loads of goals. You know what would be mental? 0-0.
Yeah, like those lineup. Those lineups on Twitter where it's just like front three of like Davis, Bentancur, and like
the bus.
Emerson Royale. Just park the bus, send it back. Doherty, it's like Doherty.
He does what he did
wing.
against Chelsea. Conte did against Chelsea, where he had like
Sessegnon,
Reguilon
at left back.
Bergvall. He had Bergvall.
It might be with Davis. It was someone actually at left back, and then Sessegnon at like left mid, with Doherty at right mid. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Run it back.
Emerson right back. Dyer. Was it? Yeah, run that back. Yeah. Emerson right back. Porro right wing. Ben
also,
Davis,
that came
left
around
wing,
the time. Do you remember
left back?
They refused to play us, Arsenal.
Yeah, just do that.
And stuff. Remember what they are. If you take one
thing
away from this podcast, remember what Arsenal are. You seen that video of the couple dancing around the Emirates, doing bloody salsa dance? Oh my God, I want to be sick. I saw that video too many times. People being in love, especially if they got Arsenal tops on.
I wish nothing but the worst. Yeah, wish nothing but the worst for them.
That's probably their first game of the season. They both got shirts on with the name on the back.
Fuck off. Fucking fake. Probably a fake couple.
Up the Spurs.
Yeah,
up
exactly.
the Spurs.
Yeah, fuck off.
Desmond,
don't want to see that.
Right now.
Up the Spurs. I'm going to go with 2-2.
Up the fucking Spurs. Sorry, I was just playing around with my mic there.
2-2, yeah. All right, legends. Quiz.